We're live. It's 19th of June. Hi, Bina. How are you?
I'm fine. Hi, Julie. It's Friday and we're doing our bit. So, yeah,
We're doing our HR bullets with Bina and Julie today, Friday the 19th of June. So what are our three hot topics today, Bina?
The three hot topics are the milestones with furloughing,
yes,
for sure. I'll touch a little bit again on holidays. And the main one that I really want to talk about today is Flexible Furloughing Scheme, the FFS. And that's what I'm going to say, and I'm going to leave it at that. So let's talk about the milestones, because I know we've talked about them every week, but they are everybody not everybody will remember these milestones and why they're important. So with the furloughing scheme, job retention scheme, we have had it until the deadlines had been extended from time to time, and so the latest one is obviously until 31st of October. Now, what we have to think about is during this time, the three things that really are important is that until end of July, 31st of July, there is no contribution to the furlough pay. So the 80% that your employee is getting under the job retention scheme, if they've been furloughed, you don't have to put any contribution towards it. From August, you have to pay as an employer. The contribution from you is that you have to pay towards the national insurance payment and also pension. So those two contributions, so that means that you have got an additional cost. Then come August, we have to think about not only the NI contribution and the pension contribution, but also there will be a 10% contribution from you. That means that that's 10% towards the 80% that the employee still receives. Okay, and then when you get to the end, it will be another 20%.
Okay, so it's 10% in September, not August.
Oh, sorry, September. In August, it is the NI and the pension contribution.
September 10% and October 20%.
20%. And the bit to remember is that although that your contribution is going up, August and September, your employee still receives the 80%. Yeah. So that's the thing that to be remembered.
So sorry, you go.
No, that's what I was just going to say. That's something that the employer must remember.
Yeah.
The contributions are going up as from July, so August, September, October, they are going up. Yeah.
We've had some confusion with employees asking if they have to pay and if they're going to get less. So it's really important that, like you said, the employee knows nothing's going to change for them. It's the employer that needs to get those contributions.
Yeah. Correct. That we've had queries about this, and they genuinely thought that they were contributing towards it, but not to the 80%. And I said, no, it is. So the employee doesn't see a difference in that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we are on that one, and now the favorite one. This is the favorite one. The Flexible Furloughing Scheme, and what that means is that from no smiling.
I'm thinking about what everybody's going to be saying. Yes, I would like to call it the FFS scheme because everyone's exactly at the moment. But it's definitely the Flexible Furlough Scheme we're talking about.
It is. We're talking about the Flexible Furlough Scheme, and what is really the difference there is that from 1st of July, which is not that far away, yeah, employers can actually furlough their employees on as and when they want to, and they've given the flexibility of actually getting people into work whilst they're still on furlough, as it were. So it will be part of the time would be furloughed, part of the time they'll be still working. And this is where I think the government obviously listened to what employers were saying, that look, up till now, until end of this month, that look, we will have some work, but not on a regular basis. And unfortunately, they couldn't bring people into work if they just had work enough for, say, I don't know, half a day or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think obviously the government listened to that and said that, okay, we'll make it easy for both parties. So you could come to work if you needed to be, but at the same time, if you didn't, we'll cover you with the furlough. And so that's something that comes in from 1st of July, goes all the way through to October, end of October. One thing that needs to be remembered on that one is that you must have a furlough period for about 7 days. So it says on there 7 calendar days. So you need to be thinking about that. And obviously the records of payments must be kept for 5 years. So, who was paid, when they were paid, how they were paid, what hours they did, all that information must be recorded and must be kept for 5 years from here on. Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's great news for employers to be able to utilize the skills they need, and employees to at least go back in and get that help. But I think one thing we spoke about earlier is remembering that the employer still needs to pay those 10%, 20% when the months come, isn't it, in September, August, September. So even if it's part-time, they still need to make those contributions.
Whatever it is that, the employer can't get away from those contributions, whether it is pension, is NI, 10% towards whatever the furlough pay comes to, the 80%, and whether, if they're doing part-time, for instance, then part-time will be, whatever the 80% works out to be their, of their part-time on a pro rata basis, and then the employer will be still contributing 10% in September, 20% in October. Yeah.
So great news for employers and employees, I think. So hopefully communication will help a little bit in the next few months all round.
Yeah, and I think the 2 other things that people need to obviously, we talked about last time of leave, using up on the holidays, and of course, and if you're thinking about making people redundant, i.e., you just cannot manage with the complement of staff, employees that you currently have. And you reviewed your status in the company, you reviewed how you're doing, and you feel that now you will have to shed a few people or positions, then you must make sure that you still follow the processes for redundancies. It doesn't actually give you any flexibility in not following it. If you're terminating contracts, then again, as long as somebody is under 2 years, and this is all part and parcel of your restructure, then because they won't be eligible for any redundancy pay. So realistically it will be a termination, but based on the restructure. And so you've got to think about that, but also annual holidays. Again, I'm getting this almost on a daily basis from my clients. What do we do about the holidays? Why, can we ask our employees to take some time off now in August or somewhere like that, or July, August, when they would have normally taken some time off. And then actually, by the way, they had already booked some leave, but now they're saying, well, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't want to use it. And you have to kind of gently remind people that as an employer, you have a right to ask them to take the leave if it is operationally viable for the employer, and it actually makes a difference for the company to say, look, take the holiday now, because when we get going, come September, October, wherever, we'll need the full complement of staff at work. Yeah. So yes, that the flexibility is there, but at the same time, the employer has the right to ask.
I think communication and compromise are key there, don't you?
Yeah, it is literally. Yeah, and I think we said it last time that you and your employees are a team, and I'm sure under normal circumstances you all work very much hand in hand, together, and doing really looking after each other. So there shouldn't be any difference now, just because we are in unusual circumstances. I think it calls for even more of understanding and communication and so on, to say what both parties want, why they're asking for whatever, and how can we work this together. So yeah, I would definitely say talk to each other and work out the solutions between you. what's the best for both parties concerned.
Sure. Perfect.
Perfect. I've just noticed we're very colour coordinated, black and orangey, red, white. Yeah, we're looking.
Must be an orangey red day today. I think it's.
It is, yeah.
I won't be wearing this jacket next week when it's 30 degrees.
No, neither will I. I won't be wearing mine either.
It's going to be a very warm one next week, isn't it? If you've seen
Yep.
that, it's very tropical. So, yeah, who knows what we'll have to talk about next week. But they're the sort of topics of this week that we wanted to cover. As always, Bina Briggs, Plain Talking HR, Julie Grimes, Jaguar White Recruitment. If we can help in any way with HR problems to solutions, and yes, me trying to help clients with their temporary or their contract help at the moment, please get in touch. And of course, candidates are talking to me on a daily basis, and we're helping as many people as we can with all of their sort of CV reviews, essential interview skills, just reaching out as best we can. So thank you for joining me again, Bina.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone else. And have a great afternoon, and I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye for now.